Hey, what's up everyone, it's Viz here and welcome to another F1 2020 My Team Career Mode video, and this time we're going into the round of Spain. For the activity timeline we do not have a lot of time, only 2 slots, so we gotta be careful with that one. So we go for the sponsor event, which will boost the team acclaim, which allows us to get sponsors more easily and better sponsors in general. In terms of the facilities, we went with the build time upgrade, because if we can push up a lot of upgrades as fast as possible, then just like that we can have some rapid improvements going. I don't care if they fail, because if you decrease that time as well, then it will be all better in the end. So in terms of the performance charts, we do see that we're on paper technically as good as Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri. But yeah, we'll have to see about that one. Of course, we have to change the livery as well, because for the Dutch Grand Prix we had these orange lines to represent the Dutch Grand Prix. But yeah, so we changed that back to a different livery, and that is how it looked then. And as we can see here in the development upgrade, we should be better than Haas on paper, but yeah, we'll see. As we enter qualifying, just like you may have seen in the Austrian Grand Prix, the tank has been filled with a lot of fuel, so we can go for a lot of laps as we try to acclimatize with the wet weather for this qualifying. It's only just qualifying that is wet, so for the race we'll be in full dry conditions. But for now we can try and see how well we do on these on this wet track. But so far it's really struggling, trying to feather the throttle a little bit. And our first time is 2.7 seconds off the pace, and we're behind Latifi even, so yeah, that is not a good sign. So we have to improve. We improve by a few tenths every time in the lap, but it's still not good enough to get in front of Latifi, as we see Nick de Vries coming alongside us to support us. But yeah, as we can see in the timing charts, we're still missing 3 tenths at least in order to be a little bit competitive with the Williams. So that is very unfortunate. So our first round is another 10th, but we needed 3 tenths, so we're still a little bit off. But then we get a lot more confident on the brakes in the next round, and that gives us 4 tenths, which puts us in front of de Vries. So that is a good sign. The next round we get 2 tenths from that, so we are improving. We are getting more and more acclimatized. So I'm really glad we put a lot of fuel in the tank, so we can try to get acclimatized with this track. Another 2 tenths, and that is our final round, and it will be P last. Well then, apparently we're last, and I'm still 2 tenths off the pace, so yikes. We do see George Russell, the Williams, going into Q2, but Nick de Vries and I are stone cold last, so yeah, that is painful. That just hurts. I think we have the arrow ready, but we're still missing a lot of chassis and engine. But yeah, seeing this pains me.
Let's have your take on it. The weather hasn't been ideal in qualifying. What's your take on it?
I mean, everybody needs to perform in the wet conditions, because you cannot expect every track to be dry in the first place. So yeah.
Your qualifying pace didn't put you at the front of the grid. Will this be a problem tomorrow?
I think as long as we can finish the race, there will be a lot of retirees, probably, because people will be caught out, or engine failures, mechanical failures. So if we can stick on the road, then we might score some points.
How do you feel this season is going for you? Is the car competitive?
Well, of course, we're trying to get off our feet here. It's our first season. We're not even halfway the first season, so we're still setting up our foundations. But so far, I'm really happy with how things are going, even though the qualifying of this track didn't really show that. But for now, I do think we're moving forwards, and yeah, it's going to be a great season overall.
Appreciate your time.
So because we're last, we can afford the engine penalties, because we weren't going to make it on a single 3 or 2 engine components. So yeah, for that we will take the full grid penalty. We will take a fresh engine, and I hope with that we can gain some additional engine performance.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat this weekend. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty. Positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel, and Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, and Sergio Perez, Stroll, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly, and Magnussen, Russell, Grosjean, Kimi Raikkonen, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Latifi, De Vries, Ocon, and Red. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Well, there we have it. Last on the grid. 65 plays grid penalty, so we couldn't be more last. If anything, we should be starting from the previous Grand Prix, which is Zandvoort, which might be beneficial to us because we did really well there, and it does look like we have a lot of pace for this track. But yeah, in terms of strategy, it's going to be a simple one-stop, trying to underfuel the car. Maybe we can get something going. That's 5 red lights on our route, and pace just isn't there. Not only are we lost, we are apparently racing by ourselves here, but fortunately everyone is still glued up, so we can just slot in behind and see what's going on. Even though there's 3 wide with Nick de Vries and Latifi, so that is a little bit close. There is some contact over there, and it doesn't look like any front wing came off, so for now I think we're all settled as I slot in behind Latifi in order to overtake our teammate. He's not going to be happy with that. He was almost overtaking 2 people, and now he's losing to me, becoming stone cold last. As we find some more traction around the outside.
Well done.
But the engine power was really powerful for Latifi, so we had to get him on the braking as we do touch the gravel a little bit. Well, we do get him. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. And now I hope we can get ahead of Ocon, but Ocon is trying to overtake Russell, so if we can follow Ocon around... Actually, we tried to follow Russell around. Did work a little bit better because he had the inside line, but as they are struggling, Russell's leaving a lot of space, and that allows me to go around the inside, brake a little bit later, small lockup, but yeah, look at P90, so that's already better than our qualifying position. So yeah, let's steam forward as we don't have ERS anymore. But our task now is to stay behind Ocon and try to get a lot of DRS from him, as we do here, so we can save a little bit of fuel during the lap, but then also try to overtake him if we even get close to Ocon. But so far it doesn't really seem that way because he's already further away. It looks like 9/10 from the top left. 9/10 now, so we are losing a little bit of time passively to Ocon, even though we are trying to half push, half stay in his DRS. And that was the last time we will ever get DRS from Ocon, so that is unfortunate. We don't even see him.
Caution.
We don't even see him anymore, but there is a yellow flag, so if we can get a safety car, we can get back into this Grand Prix again. But so far it's only a yellow flag, and it is Ocon, surprisingly.
Okay, the incident has been cleared. Let's get back up.
So let's see what happened to Ocon. So he is chasing Roman Grosjean, I believe, and there is an engine failure. It's all smoking. Yeah, that is just game over. You just have to park your car, and unfortunately that is your Grand Prix. So yeah, unfortunate times for him, but yeah, we do profit from it a little bit as we go for our pit stop, get one free position because Ocon retired. But there's going to be a pit stop race, and we know that the Williams crew is really good at making pit stops. They are super fast, and as we can see, Alfa Romeo and Haas moving away from their pit stop locations, so we are really far behind. But we do win the pit stop war. We are in front of George Russell, so all we have to do now is defend until the end of the Grand Prix. So I hope we can do that. George Russell is looking really pacey around here, or our car is just not really as good here as other tracks, but that is something to be considered for everyone else. As we do see Nick de Vries coming in for his pit stop. He went one lap later into the pit stop, so he could have an overcut depending on how good his tires are compared to ours. He was looking pretty punchy as well, so he was keeping up in terms of pace. It's really refreshing to see because we've never really seen Nick de Vries battling with us. But for now, he comes into pit stops, gets his hard tires. Looks like a clean pit stop, no issues there. So he gets outside of the pit entry, and where are we? I think we're coming down the right hand side of the screen. Yes, we are, and he jumps us. We try to attack immediately though, because our tires are very warm now and his are stone cold from the fresh pit stop, but it doesn't seem like we can directly overtake him. So yeah, fair and square, we've been overtaken by our teammate Nick de Vries, and that is something I should applaud, because he did that really well. He does have some solid pace around here.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap.
As we're trying to chase down Nick de Vries, and George Russell is behind us. Not in DRS range, so that is good for us. But yeah, we are trying to overtake Nick de Vries, and we do have DRS, we do have rich mix, we do have overtake, but we are in the single digits though. So we were looking around the inside, he locks up, but yeah, there was simply no space in order to overtake him. So we wait another lap, and maybe we can get him then, as we are trying to follow him. And there we go, more ERS, more rich mix around the outside. We don't abuse the track limits there, it's just a regular overtake, and yeah, we overtake Nick de Vries. So all we have to do now is keep Nick de Vries behind us. But yeah, we're currently in a 3-horse race between the two dark horses and the Williams of George Russell. We are slightly pulling away though from Nick de Vries, so that is a good sign for us. But if he cannot profit from our DRS, he might be in threat of George Russell, as we are getting lapped by the two Mercedes cars. So I hope Nick de Vries has learned his mistake from last race, where he got overtaken by Daniel Ricciardo from the lapped cars. So the Mercedes is coming now. Well, will he let the Mercedes pass? Looks like this straight that will be painful at the rest of the straight, because he had to hold back a little bit, but it does seem like the Williams is not overtaking him, so that is a good sign. As another Mercedes has slotted in of Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, George Russell has to let him by, and then Nick de Vries has to let him by, so let's see where that happens. So George Russell has let the first Mercedes by. That gives Nick de Vries a little bit of breathing room, but now he has to come to the start-finish straight. Probably has to let him by, which might not be as useful. Well, George Russell is really far behind. He also has to let Max Verstappen pass, who was in P3. So Nick de Vries letting Lewis Hamilton by, loses no position. George Russell is occupied, letting Max Verstappen by. So just like that, he wasn't overtaken. And yeah, George Russell has to get closer now, as Nick de Vries lets Verstappen by, and now it's our turn in order to get Lewis Hamilton by. But as you can see, we don't lose a lot of time compared to Nick de Vries, and now we have Max Verstappen behind us, so we don't want to hold him up, our fellow countryman. A little bit of bias there, but there's no real room to let him by, because Nick de Vries is pretty close as well. So we take this entire third sector with Max Verstappen behind. He might a little bit hold him up, but we will compensate that with using rich mix and overtake, so he can take our slipstream as he is doing right now. He takes a slipstream, goes around the inside of us, and yeah, we just let him go. And just like that, yeah, Max Verstappen goes ahead of us. But I think he lost a little bit of time, so there will be no more P2 if he was ever trying to hunt for that position. As we do see our 3 horse race back again, but this time it's a lot more closer just because of the lap cars overtaking us, including the Ferraris that came a little bit later, but nothing really special happened there. As we go close to the start-finish straight, yeah, as you can see, it's nothing special. We do maintain our position. Nick de Vries maintains his position as well, as we are in the final lap of this Grand Prix. So this will be the finishing order for P18, so literally the wooden spoon. It's very unfortunate, but yeah, we managed to make it work.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So unfortunately we didn't have the pace, but yeah, at least we finished ahead of the Williams. So we couldn't go in full defeat there, so I'm kind of happy with that.
They've done it then. A spectacular victory here in Spain and a massive confidence boost going into the next race. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Valtteri Bottas wins this time. Normally we see Lewis Hamilton winning. Max Verstappen on the podium, so he didn't gain any positions after that. Maybe because of us, maybe he didn't have the pace overall. But yeah, in general, Mercedes being ultra dominant again. Normally we see Ferrari being dominant at other YouTubers like Arava and Tiamat Marduk, but yeah, in our case that's not the case. So it's a pretty still result. Ocon retires, so that gives us a free position. The Williams, then us, and then the Haas's mixed up with the Alfa Romeos. So we do have a lot of improvement to do. It's not really great in terms of what we've performed, but yeah, let's go to the interviews.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
I mean, it was great. We're trying to upgrade our chassis, so I have to give it to them, as well as the aero department.
You had a close battle today, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say close, but we're both pushing each other to be the best we can be, and yeah, we still have a lot of learning to do, especially upgrading, so yeah.
Appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Claire, for the kind of weird question. We were definitely battling George Russell instead of Kevin Magnussen. So we do lose out on that rivalry, but we're still ahead because of our previous performances with Zandvoort and the previous tracks. So, yeah. In terms of team acclaim, we're still level 7, so we still need 3 more levels in order to get an additional sponsor, which will boost our economy, that will boost our facilities. But yeah, for now, we did pass the Atlantic bonus, but yeah, because we didn't finish in the top 12, we missed out on the other bonus. I don't know where we got the 50k from. Maybe it's the entire engine switcheroo. But yeah, for now, we're a little bit poor on money, and we have to save up a little bit in order to get some more funding. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed that, remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. There's a lot more Formula 1 content on the way. I'm working on some machine learning for this Formula 1 2020 game. You will see that soon enough. So yeah, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. And yeah, you'll be surprised when that video comes out. So hope to see you then. Have a nice day and goodbye.